Well, this fall brought a major restructuring of the Louisville Metro Police Department. It started with Paul Humphrey being named the new chief in September.
But many other changes happened in key command positions, including the Patrol Division, where Major Donny Burbrink became assistant chief of that bureau. He's here to talk about the changes and the challenges with our Scott Reynolds. Scott?
Well, thanks, guys, and thank you for coming in today, Assistant Chief Burbrink. Appreciate it. Ever since the pandemic and the protests, LMPD, we know, has been way short of officers. How short are you now, and how does it hinder what you're trying to do out there day to day on the streets? People will say we can't get an officer to come if there's an accident because no one was injured. And, you know, there's still that perception, I think, that there aren't enough. You just don't see the cars.
Well, I think this is a nationwide shortage. It's not just happening here in Louisville, Kentucky. Every department we've talked to throughout the nation is experiencing the same thing. And the bad part is that the citizens of Louisville, they don't want to hear about every other department and what they're experiencing. They want to know how we're going to work to get them the services that they need. We're actively trying to come up with different ways to attack some of these problems, to combat the issue we have with manpower. But it's a time-consuming process. It's going to take a little bit for us to get there, but we are actively working.
200, 250, 300? What would you say the shortage is for?
I want to say we're probably between 2 and 250 down from where we should be. But we are still, it doesn't matter. We still have services that we have to offer. So we have to be able to provide services to people, even with a shortage of manpower.
We've heard the recent plan to put more officers in areas where more of the crime is happening. It seems kind of 101 policing, but that was brought up in the recent plan, you know, to make a difference on crime. How will that be implemented, and what do you expect it to do?
I think that we're going to be utilizing a lot of data to put officers in the right place at the right time. Since we are experiencing a shortage, having people at the same places where the data is showing that the crime is happening is going to be imperative for us to do that. That's where we're going to start off at. We're going to start doing all of our CompStat things that we do on a weekly basis, talking about the crime and what crimes we're actually seeing, and then putting the officers in that area where that crime is occurring and trying to deter that, keep it from just displacing somewhere else, trying to actually disrupt it, stop it from occurring, and then going to longer term plans on how we're going to fix some of these areas.
You know, we've seen in our news coverage almost daily suspects in serious crimes and homicide, 12, 14, 16, maybe 18 years old. In your career, which spans several decades beyond, have you seen a big percentage in change of just how many young kids are involved in the violent crimes, the attempted homicides and the murders?
Yes, starting in 2020 is when we started seeing a significant change up. A lot more juveniles being involved in violent crime, a lot more juveniles being victims of violent crime. And a lot of that had to do with schools being out, not being in to be able to go to school, not being able to hang out with their friends, and finding people that they wanted to associate with. And those people were kind of recruiting them to let them come and do some of the stuff that they were doing. And
can you infiltrate them? We hear it's smaller gangs, there's a lot of them. Can you make a difference before the crime happens, or do you just have to respond?
I think that we try to intervene the best that we can with different intelligence resources that we have, but you know, sometimes the violent crime is a reactionary thing. So we're trying to disrupt it on the front end, but the big thing for us for recidivism, to try to prevent recidivism, is solve that crime the very first time it happens.
Last question, are officers afraid to engage at times? Because we've seen where the Department of Justice has said too aggressive, unfair treatment, payouts have happened. Is it easier to just let a suspicious vehicle go and not engage and not deal with it unless something major has happened? How do you make sure your officers are not doing that?
I'm very fortunate. I've got phenomenal officers. And they do care about the city. They care about our innocent people that are living in this city. They're not going to let people just go on the wayside and go do whatever they want to do. They are going to be active with this. I'm very happy with what they're doing, and we're going to continue to try to support them and get them the resources they need so they can be more effective.
All right, well, Assistant Chief Donny Burbrink, thanks so much for coming in. Good luck with the Patrol Division and filling those 200 to 250 positions. Multi-year plan to do that? Is it 3 to 5 years out?
We're hoping so, yes.
All right, okay, we'll keep on top of that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.